says, do not open with knife. Well, how the hell are you supposed to open it? I ain't gonna open with my good luck. So we'll use a blade that has it retracted way in there. So this is a bright pink, I don't remember if this was a Jeep model or which one it was, but my granddaughters turned 3 yesterday, and it's a 2-seater. There's a little windshield. That's adorable. It comes in 2 boxes, so I am not going to have all of the pieces, but I am going to lay everything out, so when the other box shows up, I'll be ready. Cute. It's got a hood. Oh, it looks like the charger. There's a bunch of stuff here. Lights. Ooh. There's a lot more to this than I thought there would be, honestly. Well, here's the remote control, so Mom can keep the kids from going off track. Received the rest of my package for this car. As I mentioned before, I think it does come in 2 boxes. They warn you that when you buy it. This one came about 3 days after the other box. And basically, dear customer, thank you for purchasing from us. Here are some tips that might be useful if you meet troubles with your product. Our car is packed in 2 different boxes. Delivery could be different. Some parts in the hood or under the seat. Kindly check these 2 places for accessories. Hope your family has a great time with our product. Okay. I've not seen any assembly instructions yet, so I guess maybe that other book that said operating instructions has the assembly in it. So basically the second box just has the other tires in it, looks like, because they only had room for 2 tires in the first box. It says user's manual. I did not assume that was the assembly manual, but let's take a look. Woo! Yep, shows how to put it all together. Has a complete parts list. And okay, there's some foam. I'll show you here. There's some foam wrapped around that battery. So they want you to remove this foam here. I'm sure that's just to protect it while it's traveling. Could cause problems with, I suppose, heat and stuff. So we'll get that off there in a minute. But I'm going to follow the instructions step by step. They don't have steps, they just call them figures, and they show you how to assemble it. So this might be a little interesting. Really don't like it when they don't give you real specifics. Looks like the seat's one of the last things to go in. And then the spare tire. And the light rack. This is kind of a cool looking vehicle. Alright, well, let's get this together so my granddaughters can use it on Sunday. It's Friday today, so hopefully I don't run into any problems. Okay, under the assembly page, the first thing it says here, assembly of your new car is simple, provided you carefully follow the detailed diagram, refer to the component part numbers. I'm sure they are fitted in the correct order as shown. Please remove the foam that protected the battery. So that's the first thing we're going to do. Let's get you down here a little closer. So there's a foam over the battery here, so we're going to pull this. We're going to take these screws off of this that hold the battery down. Could use a cordless drill to do this. Pretty sure I don't have to take all 4 screws out. Pretty sure if I just pull that out. Well, see, now I don't agree with that one. I get the foam on top. Huh. Just a little battery like it goes in a, if you've ever used a uninterruptible power supply, a UPS, same battery. Looks like there's almost room for 2 batteries in here. Alright, so that's in there. Charge battery for at least 8 to 12 hours. Never charge battery longer than 15. Important. No 8 driving wheel. Number 2 is in the box. 2 others in box 1. Okay. So 2 of the wheels are driving wheels and 2 are not. And I'll show you when we do those. It's the wheels themselves are made a little bit differently. Okay, so installation steps. Number 1. Let's get a bunch of this junk on here. All right, let me see if I can move you here a little bit. So apparently these go on. These are the basically kick plate. There's a L in this one. And there is an R in this one. There we go. Put the one on the other side the same way. Just clicks in. Same thing here. I don't know if you can see in the plastic here, but it says FR. So front right. Back up the zoom a little bit here. And these just press on. So there are some screw holes in here. For later, I haven't found that hardware kit yet. But these just snap on here. Right in here, got these little tabs. And if you get those in, and then get this back piece in here, you gotta snap them together, and then those screws will line up. So they have on here 4mm by 12 and 4mm by 16. So the 12s are going to be 1/2 inch long, and these are going to be a little bit longer than 1/2 inch. So you're going to want to dump these all out. Let's move the camera down here. Let me show you this real quick. Those are all 4mm by 12s. You see the 2 up there in the corner? I only have 2 of them. So I'm hoping there's another bag of hardware somewhere. Alright. I'll figure out the missing 4 screws later. I just realized something on here, that you can't have this piece in place. You won't be able to get the screws in here. So I've got to get those pieces on first, then do the bottom ones. So it doesn't show that in the instructions, but you'll realize it the minute you try to put it together. And again, it looks like this stuff here, you really want to have these plastic pieces in place. That's how you know you've got it right. So I'm going to tighten those screws on all the fender pieces first. Then I can put this piece on. Okay, you've really got to pull this piece down into place in order to get that plastic boss on the other side anywhere near where the screw is going to grab. Yeah, it's not even grabbing. It's nowhere near. Well, what do you expect with a car made out of plastic, I guess, huh? I just described every car on the road. It's not grabbing. Oh, there we go. Now it is. Well, now let's see if I can get this one here now that I got that all pulled down. Maybe it was a little crooked. I mean, it is plastic after all, so things are not going to be always line up quite right. Okay, one of the screws they gave me is bad. This inside piece is all filled in. It has no gap. So that screw was stamped out wrong. Okay, now she went in there. Alright, I gotta do the left front now. Hopefully some of the stuff I'm doing will save you some time. It's like in the case over here where I put that sill plate, kick plate on before I should have. I gotta switch angles here, sorry. I'm right-handed. Makes it really difficult working when I kind of have to do it left-handed or across my body. And don't get ridiculous on tightening these. Again, I would not recommend using a drill. I think on these three, the way that looks like it lines up, I would recommend at least starting the two end ones first. That way it'll line up better. Alright, I'm going to flip it over, do the other side, and then I'll bring you back. Apparently the front bumper is next. Here's the front bumper. Front bumper has the headlights, or the fog lights, or whatever. So there's those. Then I need two of the KC lights. So the instructions show these screws going down through here. So those 4 long screws I needed are already in here. You can see they're a bit longer than these. So I was wrong on these other ones. These are really long. Okay. So then this stuff, like this bumper piece, goes in here. Okay, and then you want the smooth part forward, and the part that has the screws in it toward the back. And then the screw just goes back in there to hold it. The screw just goes right back in here to hold it in place. So is it Sport Monster or Monster Sport? Sport Monster is what it looks like on the side over here. So we'll put the Sport one here, Monster one here. Cool looking, huh? Alright, so this pushes in here. It has a couple tabs right here. This pushes in here, and try not to scratch this thing up too much while I'm assembling it. I've got it on the cardboard here. Anyway, there's some bosses on the back here. So there's a boss right here on this piece that slides inside of this piece. And I don't know if you can see that at all, but anyway, those two slide in together, and then it kind of clicks. Okay, so now this piece here, I kind of had to pull down to get over this bottom bumper, this reinforcement here. So the two shorter ones, 4mm by 12, go in these two center ones. And then these outside ones, they have like a reinforcement boss on the back. So it's really, it's a lot thicker. So if you're ever trying to figure out between metric and standard on millimeters, there are about 25 millimeters to an inch. It's 25.4 to be exact, but if you can remember 25 millimeters to an inch, that's why I knew that 12 millimeters was about a half an inch. work in machining, and a lot of our machine tooling is ordered in millimeters, even though we're manufacturing in standard. You know, we manufacture most of our parts to English, to imperial measurements, and English decimal equivalents. But when I go to run a machine, I've got an L20. Well, that's a 20 millimeter machine. You know, an SB16 is a 16 millimeter machine. It just tells you what the largest size material you can run. So the metric is definitely out there. Some of our prints come in metric, and we have to convert them because our machines don't machine in metric. We could. There is a setting to turn them to metric, but for the sake of consistency, we just keep them all in standard. Okay, so now there's a screw here, the back side, on each side of the bumper. I'll hold this in also. So, I have the two longer ones here. I'm sorry, longer one here, two short ones. And then that boss that I was showing you up here where it has to kind of go together, there's one in each of those top, left and right. I almost said top and bottom. It's only top and bottom because I'm putting it together on its side. Okay. Together, now I got to do the rear bumper. Should be pretty much the same procedure. Let's see. Looks like it's the same thing. I've got a boss right here. Slides right in there. The bottom slides in. There's 4 screws across here. And several screws here. There's 2 screws here. That one's going to be tough to get to. I should be able to get to that. And how do you get that screw from the bottom? Okay. So there's a screw that goes into the bottom right here. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, I got it on the camera. Just barely. So there's a screw right here that goes in the middle of the bumper. Once it's on, you can get through it through this hole. Okay. Then you've got a screw here and a screw here. From this side, same thing on the bottom. And then there's 4 screws here to hold it to the car on that side. Okay, so push that in there. Push that in there. And on this one, they're all the same size. It says install rear bumper. I guess it did say in those pictures front bumper, rear bumper. Must not have been paying attention. Let me put one of these screws in first so it doesn't roll all over. I don't know if too many people do this, but I always magnetize my screwdrivers. I know some people hate it, but it has saved me many times. And like a case like this where I only have one hand, makes it a lot easier getting stuff started because it'll just stay right on the screwdriver. Just gotta get a strong magnet and slide it down the screwdriver tip in one direction. It has to be a fairly strong magnet, and it will magnetize the screwdriver, and for a long time. Oh yeah, that was actually easier than I thought. And I've got to put these other 2 ones down here. Oh, looks like you've got, I'll have one extra screw after getting this all together. All right, took a little break and then came back looking at the instructions. So in these 4 pockets, there's 2 pockets here, 2 pockets there. These are different sizes, so they will only fit in one way. So the screws are already pre-screwed into there, so you just take them out. Same thing here, these screws are into here, and these are for these braces. So I had not taken those out yet, so I'll have to take these out. now that I got them all started, now I can run them all the way down. Alright, so the instructions say to put this pylon on. I went ahead and got them on, got the braces on there. Now apparently there's a whole steering arm I got to do. I'll set this J piece off to the side. It shows it one of the next steps. So this goes in there. And how does that go exactly? The slider part goes toward the front of the car. Okay. It must go like this. Okay. No, I got that backwards. Slider part goes towards the back of the car. Because the steering wheel hooks in right here, down through this hole. Okay. So when you've got the picture here, the front of the car, I'm just going to turn it to match this piece here. I've got the car upside down, the front is right here. Matches up just like that. So I've got to take these, again, the screws are already in the holes. So you have them, you know you've got the right ones in the right spot. It's actually kind of an ingenious idea. Okay. This bar is square. Kind of keep everything together. This drops down inside of here. It has a little recess. So you've got to line that up. You need to line it up. Oops. There we go. What's going on here? Too far apart. Was there a certain direction those were supposed to face? They look symmetrical to me. Because even if this one drops down in, this one isn't. This one's off by quite a bit. Oh, you know what? This one's not down in here all the way. Now that I'm looking at it. It's tilted. This whole tower is tilted. Let me loosen this up. I'll go get that other screwdriver. I'm going to loosen this up and turn that around or something. Alright. So I've got that sitting in here loosely. So I'm not sure why that was off by so much. I did spin it. I did turn it 180 degrees. If you have a skinny enough screwdriver, you can still get in here with that bracket laying on top of here. But I'm going to use that to line this up. I'm going to put these screws back in. I'm going to put these screws in here before I tighten that up. I'm going to put 2 screws in here so I don't strip it out. I don't want to pull them out. That way I know it's down in this pocket really, really well. Okay, let's get 2 screws on the other side here. So far that's really the only problem I've had where, I don't know if it's part tolerances, you know. In manufacturing, we're allowed different tolerances. Sometimes it's a position, so the hole has to be a certain size in a certain place. If you make it a little bigger, it can be off a little bit more. That allows you to put stuff together, manufacture in different places, and you know it'll still assemble when you're all done. So if you're putting this together and you run into that problem, that's how I handled it. Maybe yours won't have that issue at all. It'll line up perfect. But when you've got metals and plastics, it's not unusual to have some mismatch. You see, that's why they build tolerances in the stuff, so they can build them in different places and they'll still assemble. is that. Now steering. Looks like the J part stays down here. No, it goes like that. And that's what turns the steering. Okay, so there must be something down there that either locks it or it locks it from the other side, pulls it up with the steering wheel. That's figure 12. They skip a couple. I'm going to put the steering wheel on, I think, first. So that bar doesn't fall out. So let's tip it up on its side and get the steering wheel on here. So the steering wheel has a screw that goes through it, that goes through that steering, the steering shaft over there. So we're going to tip it up now. I'm holding my finger on the back because there's actually a nut on the back here. And I know you can't probably see it, but the hole on that side where the nut goes is actually the shape of the nut. So that way because you can't get a wrench in there. You just tighten it with the screwdriver then. All right, let's tip this up and get the steering wheel on here. Again, I'd recommend doing this on carpet so you have no chance of scratching this. This plugs in for the horn and whatever else is connected to this. So this connector just plugs in here. It's a one-way connector. And I'm going to push this in, but the thing is I'm going to have to hold, get over here on the other side. I'm going to have to hold that steering shaft so I don't push it up by accident. Alright, so you want the steering wheel right side up. Let's hold the nut down in there and it'll hold the nut for you so you can tighten it up with the screwdriver. Alright, so now the steering wheel, it's all hooked up, good to go. Alright, so now it says to assemble the wheels. So I'm going to put the motors back in here and get it tipped up and we'll get the wheels on here. I apologize if a lot of this has been in the shadows. Man, should have checked my lighting. I thought I was okay. Thought it'd be better with light from outside, but maybe not. Camera adjusts a little bit too much. Hopefully that turns out. But that one was pretty straightforward. This one should be even easier. Like I said, I already took the screws out of here. Put these down on there. Just so you don't mix them up. There's a tip for you, okay? The wheels that have this big knob on here, okay, they're actually the wheel that gets driven. That fits into the motor. That's what drives it. So when you're putting the wheels on, if you've mixed them up at all, because they look the same other than that, the other two wheels just look like this. They don't have that ridge at all. These are for the front. For the driven wheels, they got to have that big knob on them. All right, so wheels. We're going to do the front ones real quick. And pretty easy. Just took the nut and the washer off. Slide this on there. It's not real clear, but these are what's called a wheel lock. That goes in there. That keeps you from crushing the plastic wheel. And you just tighten that down with a wrench. Looks like about. And these are nylocks also. Actually, I think it's a one size smaller than that. I think it's actually a 17. Try the 17. It might even be smaller. It might even be English. Anyway, if you get it too tight, the wheel won't spin. So make sure it spins. Let that spin freely. So that nylock will hold that on there. That's not going to come off. All right, let's go ahead and do the next one. I'm going to film the other side here too, just in case you missed something. So there's two washers already on here. Say I'm going to take this and this nut off of here. That's where they came from the factory. This wheel, okay, I'm going to put it on here with this smooth side out, but it has this like little keyway. So leave the one washer down here. Put that on there. Put the wheel lock in there. Again, that helps center that up and keeps you from damaging it. And then tighten this down. Really don't want any drag on that at all. That nylock will hold this nut on here. That won't come loose. All right, so now let's get the driven wheels on. I gotta mount the motors, get the driven wheels on. Let's go back and look at the instructions. I'm pretty sure that's the next thing, but that's how you put the wheels on, at least the front ones anyway. Don't forget your hubcaps. Almost forgot that. They just have 4 tabs that line up. These 4 tabs right here line up in the wheels and press them on. That's kind of sharp looking. Quick tip, these motors, unplug them. I was rolling this thing around with these things in here the whole time. They get installed from the outside anyway, so just go ahead and unplug them so they're not in your way and you're not yanking on the cords the whole time. I wish I'd realized that. Motor goes in from the outside. They have a big sticker on here, left and right. So same thing here. Take these washers off. Okay, slide it on the end of the shaft, end of the drive shaft. Feed the cord down through the hole. Okay, and you can plug this in and back here on the controller. Then put one of the washers on there. It fits perfectly in there. Okay, so you've got the motor, it's plugged in on the shaft, on the washer. Remember, this has got the drive cogs on it. Let's drop this on here. Obviously lines up. Drop that wheel lock down in there. Drop this guy down in there. And this rear wheel, you're not going to be able to tighten right away because you got to have them both on there. But you're not going to want them terribly tight. Again, on the carpet's probably the best thing to do this on. Probably try not to scratch it. They're going to use it outside anyway. They're 3 years old. They don't care. All right, let's get the wheel on here. Put your washer on here. Put your drive wheel on here. Drops right in. Wheel lock, washer, nut. Everything seems to move freely. And that axle shaft actually, I'm grabbing the shaft back here with this wrench, and the shaft is turning pretty freely, so should be good. After the wheels are on, it says to go ahead and install the steering wheel. Well, I already had it upside down before, and I already got the steering wheel on, so I really think, personally, I think the order of that assembly should be changed. But that's just me. Alright, so the seat, there's a couple hooks on the back. They tuck up under here. So just kind of lean it like this. Tilt it, and it'll lock. And then these are the locks for the seat. And then you just turn these 90 degrees. Put them down in there. Just use a flathead screwdriver. Probably even use a quarter. Turn it 90 degrees. Quarter or a nickel, whatever. There we go. So the seat's in there. The spare tire. The FAW spare tire. This just slides in here. There we go. Oh, if I was paying attention, Goes like that. Put these on so it's tapered coming back. Just press in there. Is that one even in there? Okay. Same thing here. This one goes in. You want these grooves forward. Then these fake lights all go in here. Okay. So the start button is right over here. I don't know what that button is. There is a voltmeter over here with the actual volts on it. I don't know what that one does. This is the high and low speed in the middle. This is forward, stop, reverse here. And manual and RC. So if we put it on RC, then I should be able to control it with the remote control I got. It comes with a remote control. But yeah, no, it's a pretty neat little car. I don't know if you can see the voltmeter over here now. If it's flickering on camera, I apologize, but it's not flickering in real life. There's a USB port here. You can play music on this thing. It's actually pretty fancy. I like it. Little disappointed. I would have thought both buttons would have worked for the horn, but only that one does. So if that's an oversight or if that's on purpose, but pretty cool. Oh, I guess I didn't show also. So it does have seat belts, one for each side, and then these doors actually open up like like a real Jeep. But that's kind of cool, and they kind of latch. So I'm sure my granddaughter's going to have hours of fun in this thing. They're twins. They're probably going to fight over it, but I'm sure they will have lots of fun with it. So that's it for today. That's kind of a walkthrough of how to assemble one of these. It wasn't really that bad. Just gotta follow the instructions little by little. The only tool that's not included is a Phillips screwdriver, a number 2 Phillips screwdriver. That's it. Otherwise, I don't see why anybody couldn't put this together in their living room. Pretty easy to do. I'll have to read the instructions on how to do the battery charging, charger, a wall charger that comes with it, and you just plug it into the battery and you're good to go. So they are going to absolutely love this. Thanks for following along with my channel. If this video was helpful to you, please let me know. If you ran into any problems assembling one of these yourself, or if you're looking to buy one, send me a message. I'd be more than happy to give you my opinion, give you some tips if you run into problems. All right, quick update before I completely sign off here. I was doing a little bit more reading and research. So right down here, there's a port right here. Right here on the front of the seat. That's where you plug it in. It says right here, input. That's perfect. It does have some holes in the bottom, I just noticed. So if your kid spills something in here, it will run out. Again, it's got a couple of seat belts, and yeah, it's it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I mean, for the price, I think there's quite a bit of value here. We'll see how long it lasts. Maybe I'll do an update video later on. But overall, right now, I was really pleased with it. So thanks again. Please follow along. Again, your comments and questions are greatly appreciated, especially on something like this, if you're planning on putting one together yourself. Thanks again. Have a great day. And please follow my other videos. Check them out. Thanks. All right, to be honest, I couldn't end the video right there. I had to play around with it a little bit more, make sure everything worked. So I set up the remote. It's real easy. All you do is leave the car off. You hold down this button for 2 to 4 seconds, and the lights in here, there's 3 tiny little holes here that you can see, and they're red. They'll start flashing. Then all you do is you turn the car on. Make sure that the gear or the selector is in RC. And yeah, then you're good to go. And she works just like that. So on the remote, forward, reverse. I think P is park, so that if you bump the buttons, it doesn't do anything. Left and right, and then this is the speed here. And I don't know if you can see those 3 red lights in there. Might be kind of hard to see with the camera. I can't quite get her. Oh, and if you don't touch the remote for a few seconds, it'll go, it'll turn off because it's trying to save the battery. But there's 3 little LEDs on the inside. So I have it on the highest speed right now. She goes pretty good. And believe it or not, it actually has working headlights and fog lights. That's really cool. None of the other lights work. Everything else is just for show. But those front headlights are LED, and they do work. That's pretty cool.